So I have some major news from India that might prove to be really bearish for Dogecoin in the coming months. But before we talk about it, let's take a look at how the crypto market has been doing since yesterday. So Bitcoin slid below 35K for the first time in many months today. Doge lost somewhere around 3%, ETH lost 4%, and some other coins also lost 3 to 4% each. Now there are many reasons behind this crash. Let's go through them one by one. So basically, Bitcoin continued to slide this week because of the broader stock sell-off in the US last week. Bitcoin has lost more than 10% in the 5 days. The drop came after the blue-chip Dow Jones Industrial Average lost more than 1,000 points on Thursday and the Nasdaq plunged by 5%. Those losses marked the worst single-day drops since 2020. Also, the Dow and Nasdaq fell again on Friday. So the first reason then is the increasing correlation between the stock market and the crypto market. Now another reason that literally no one is talking about is related to the Terra Foundation. So this foundation is considered a savior of the crypto market back in March with a billion worth buying spree of the first crypto. Basically, following massive outflows from USD on Anchor, holders of the stablecoin had to witness a brief depegging, which caused the price of the stablecoin to drop below $1. To regulate the prices of stable assets, the foundation had to sell some of its Bitcoin holdings, which added even more pressure to the poorly performing asset. While there are at least two reasons behind the increased outflows, the major cause is tied to increasing volatility in the cryptocurrency market, followed by increased demand for exit liquidity. It is not yet clear how much of their funds Terra Foundation sold, but it is not a small amount as Anchor reported $2.3 billion in outflows, indicating massive outflows from the stable asset. And then there were the short-term holders, which have been very scared lately. They moved 11,760 Bitcoin to crypto exchanges between May 5th and 6th. Basically, on the 5th and 6th, a total of 11.76K young Bitcoins held for less than 3 months flowed into the exchange. Coins are usually transferred to crypto exchanges for liquidation purposes, which is usually bearish because it increases selling pressure. And then, of course, the other reason for the price drop in the crypto market is also the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. Initially, the interest rate hike of 0.5% triggered a bullish reaction in the market, but it now seems to be igniting selling pressure as investors digested the impact of the news. Now, while retail investors are typically the ones to react more emotionally and dispose of their assets during sell-offs, crypto quant data showed that it was the whales who did some damage too. Their latest research indicates that the number of larger players in whales sending between 10 and 10,000 Bitcoin to exchanges was more significant than smaller investors depositing from 0.01 Bitcoins to 10 Bitcoins. As such, CryptoQuant concluded that whales could have an open position on the stock market and realizing profit in crypto could mean reducing risky assets to secure their positions on stocks. And finally, because of this sell-off, the fear in the market has been increasing again. Let's look at the Fear and Greed Index for a minute. If you don't know, this index is derived by examining community social media posts, surveys, volatility, trading volume, and so on. Now this metric has been in a fear territory since mid-April, but the latest price dumps drove it to extreme fear. In fact, by displaying 18 right, now the index is in its lowest position since the aforementioned late January drop. Basically, the fear is creating the sell-off, which is creating even more fear. But we have to remember that some institutional investors and whales have been scooping up. Watch my last 2 videos where I talk about how they're doing it. For now, let's move on to the major news for today. So the Indian government is thinking about putting more taxes on crypto sale and purchases. This is harsh because the finance ministry has already imposed a 30% income tax on earnings from virtual digital asset transactions from April 1. And now they are thinking about levying some GST on cryptos too. They're saying that there are still several aspects pertaining to goods and service tax on cryptos, such as its mining, sale, and purchase, and their exchange value when used for buying or bartering goods and services. One of the parliament members suggested that crypto should be treated like lotteries and gambling, and GST on cryptos should be levied as per the higher slab of 28% instead of 18%. This is a shame because people in India love investing in Dogecoin. Take a look at this. How to buy Dogecoin in India and invest in Bitcoin were among top 10 crypto search trends in 2021. And this is why it's really sad, because a new tax like this is going to discourage Indian investors from investing in cryptos and ultimately Dogecoin. I'm worried about this also because more than 100 million people in India invest in cryptos. And that's just outrageous. So while I know the government is going to make a lot of money from crypto, it's really sad news for the crypto market. Let's see how it turns out. Moving on, there's another warning I'd like to give to all Doge holders. So millions of dollars have been stolen with the help of fake endorsements from the likes of Tesla CEO Elon Musk and former Twitter CDO Jack Dorsey. Bogus videos promoting double your crypto scams have been making the rounds on YouTube, generating tens of thousands of views. The report says that various YouTube channels are attempting to lure in victims with edited clips from the B-Word conference, which took place last year. Some fraudsters managed to rake in hundreds of dollars earlier this year. And this is a big warning for Doge holders because we're huge fans of Elon Musk and would get very excited if we came across an ad about Doge giveaway from Elon. So the point is that we need to be really careful about this. But now let's move on to some really good news for the crypto market. An apartment in Portugal was recently sold, with the buyer paying directly in crypto. This is big news because the home was purchased for 3 bitcoins without conversion to euros. In the past, the coins had to be converted to euros before payment to a seller was made. Now, the real estate acquisition can be a 100% crypto operation in which the digital money is exchanged for the rights to the property. And another big news came from Singapore, where the government has recently tightened its grip on the crypto industry. It says here that business owners are really passionate about the crypto industry. If you ever go to Singapore, you'll come across a restaurant called the Mason Ikoku, and you'll see a sign that states that the establishment accepts Bitcoin, BNB, and ETH as payment. And Ju Bar is another of Singapore's many restaurants that accept crypto payments. Customers who pay in Bitcoin receive a 15% discount at the eatery. The point is that these people are passionate about cryptos even after their government has been telling them to not use them. And I'm hoping that the Indian crypto users would respond to the new taxes the same way. Moving on, some great news from Google. So Google is establishing a Web3 team within its cloud unit, noting that it is a market that is already demonstrating tremendous potential. The Google Cloud VP said that, "We're not trying to be part of that crypto wave directly, but we're providing technologies for companies to use and take advantage of the distributed nature of Web3 in their current businesses and enterprises." I still think that it's a really big first step for Google becoming pro-crypto. And now let's talk about a very interesting report before we move on to analysis and predictions. So according to a report by NBC News, moms are diving into the crypto space in an attempt to educate themselves on the digital landscape. The report profiles the efforts of Sarah Monson, who became motivated to learn about cryptos and NFT after Facebook's announcement last October about its focus on the metaverse. The report claims a growing number of mothers are beginning to invest in crypto, a market that has traditionally been dominated by younger male investors. Now coming back to analysis, crypto analyst Merton said that the bottom for Bitcoin is close, and shortly after that, we'll see a bump. He basically said that there is a limit, a threshold where it genuinely makes sense at the end of the day to see price actually go down, until we start to see people limit buying and also leading the charge on the market order flow, which is going to drive the price back up. Merton thinks that the cumulative market cap for Bitcoin and Ethereum will drop towards 900 billion. To put this into perspective, it currently is positioned at 1.1 trillion. He also compared this cycle with previous cycles, saying that though there are a few price drops, Bitcoin never actually fell as low as the previous cycle's peak. He also said that he thinks it's completely irrelevant and out of the question to think that we'd come down and touch $20,000 for Bitcoin. Moving on, another prediction came from crypto billionaire Brock Pierce. He said that Bitcoin will either fail spectacularly or become massively successful. According to Pierce, the crypto landscape currently reminds him of the tech bubble over 2 decades ago when a culling of internet startups took place. In any case, where do you think we're headed from here? Do you think we'll drop to 0 or rise to 1 million? Let me know in the comments section below. Now coming back to Dogecoin, remember I told you about how Jeff Bezos started following Billy Marcus? Now Billy has responded to the Amazon CEO for following him on Twitter by posting this crazy GIF saying, "Jeff Bezos, you did it." And this is interesting because Billy will soon start posting about Dogecoin more than he ever has. And as I said yesterday, it'll increase the chances of Amazon accepting Doge more and more.